I'm Lynn. As I sit here in the warmth of my new home, looking out at the city lights, I'm reminded of how far I've come. It all started on a fateful night when my world was turned upside down. It was a Wednesday at 7:23 p.m. And I was in the kitchen, washing a pan that still held the aroma of garlic and lemon. The soft hum of the kitchen light above me created a domestic scene that I once thought was the start of a shared life. But then, the sound of footsteps behind me shattered that illusion. It was Ethan. He was my fiancé, or at least he was. He walked in with a swagger, holding a luxurious boutique bag, the kind that screamed money and excess. I turned around, and as soon as I saw that bag, I knew trouble was brewing. Ethan, that bag must have cost a fortune. We're supposed to be saving for our wedding, I said, trying to keep my voice calm. He rolled his eyes, like I was being unreasonable. We are saving. This was a necessary purchase, he replied, his tone defensive. I let out a short, humorless laugh. We're saving the way people start diets on Mondays. This is a big deal. We've already paid the venue deposit, finalized the guest list, and designed the invitations. My words seemed to strike a nerve. His expression shifted from annoyance to offense. He leaned forward, his palms flat on the counter, and said, "You know what your problem is? You're acting like you're some kind of prize." I was taken aback. Excuse me? He laughed sharply, almost gleefully. Lynn, I could replace you in 24 hours, flat out. For a moment, the kitchen went silent. I stared at him, not because it hurt in the way he intended, but because it was so revealing. He genuinely believed that love was a transaction, and I was just a replaceable item. I took a deep breath and said, "Okay. Prove it." You said 24 hours. His eyes widened in shock. What? We're done, I said, my voice surprisingly calm. He tried to convince me to stay, throwing insults and threats my way. You can't even pick a show on Netflix without me. You don't know the passwords to half our accounts. But I was done listening. I walked into the bedroom, packed my things into 2 duffel bags and a backpack, and texted my best friend, Lily. Can I crash at your place tonight? Almost immediately, she replied, yes, right now. Are you okay? Just as I was about to leave, my phone buzzed with a message from Noah. Noah was Ethan's so-called untouchable model friend. Ethan always bragged about knowing him, like Noah's status made him better. Noah's message read, "Heard you're single now." Ethan's already posting about it. You okay? I was skeptical, but there was a part of me that was curious. He then asked me to come to his place instead, saying we needed to talk. I hesitated, but in the end, I decided to take a chance. I texted Lily, change of plans. I'll be safe. I'll explain soon. When I arrived at Noah's building, it was clear that this was not just any place. It was a luxurious high-rise with glass doors and a quiet doorman. Noah was waiting for me in the hallway. He was wearing gray sweatpants and a worn black hoodie, his hair messy. His eyes held a look of relief when he saw me. Thank God you're here, he said. He led me into his apartment, which smelled like clean laundry and coffee. It felt like a real, lived-in place. He then showed me Ethan's Instagram story. A black and white photo of his hand holding a drink, with a caption that painted me as the villain in his comeback story. I felt a wave of disgust wash over me. Noah then took a deep breath and said, Lynn, I asked you to come because there's something I should have told you a long time ago. He showed me a text thread labeled Ethan 2022. My blood ran cold as I read the messages. Ethan had been planning to replace me for a long time. He'd been using me for my credit score and stability until he found someone better. He'd also been practicing lines to manipulate me, like telling me I was nothing without him. Noah explained that he'd wanted to tell me, but Ethan had threatened to ruin his career with fake screenshots and DMs. And then, to my shock, Noah confessed that he'd been in love with me since the night he'd introduced me to Ethan at his birthday party. He'd thought Ethan would be good for me, but he'd watched as Ethan slowly poisoned our relationship. As I sat there, processing all this information, my phone started buzzing non-stop. It was Ethan, sending me smug messages, telling me to come crawling back. Noah's phone also buzzed with messages from Ethan. He showed me the texts, where Ethan was still trying to control the situation, saying that I'd be back and warning Noah not to get any ideas. I was furious. I blocked Ethan's numbers one by one, determined not to let him have any more power over me. The next day, Ethan's 24-hour replacement attempt turned into a live broadcast. He posted stories from different places, trying to show that he was moving on. But as the hours passed, it became clear that things weren't going as he'd planned. By evening, he was unraveling publicly. He posted a crying selfie, deleted it, and then reposted it with a caption about healing. His captions got more and more defensive. At 7:23 p.m. Exactly 24 hours after his declaration, Noah and I decided to go for tacos. It was a simple, normal thing to do, and it felt radical in the midst of all the chaos. We took a photo of our taco dinner and posted it with the caption "Good Vibes." Almost immediately, Ethan called Noah and started yelling, accusing him of stealing his fiancé. I leaned forward and said clearly, "You dumped me, remember? 24 hours. He hung up, but then the smear campaign started. He posted story after story claiming that Noah had always been obsessed with me and had sabotaged our relationship. He also started messaging me from new numbers and fake accounts, trying to guilt me into coming back. But I blocked them all. That night, Ethan showed up at Noah's building, claiming that we were holding his stolen property. He was live streaming on Instagram, crying and causing a scene. The police were called, and he was escorted out. The next morning, I got a call from work. Someone had called my manager, claiming that I was unprofessional, distracted, and creating an uncomfortable environment. I knew it was Ethan, trying to punish me. Noah and I decided to document everything. We collected screenshots, timestamps, voicemails, and emails. We also found out that Ethan had started asking for money online, claiming to be healing from emotional abuse. But while Ethan was causing a public spectacle, Noah and I were building a quiet, meaningful relationship. We walked at night, shared our dreams and fears, and supported each other. A few weeks later, the woman Ethan had brought home during his 24-hour replacement attempt, Sarah, decided to take matters into her own hands. She flooded Ethan's inbox with MLM pitches and sent screenshots of his inappropriate behavior to his PR agency. Ethan was placed on a performance improvement plan, which eventually turned into a termination. He then created a PowerPoint presentation, trying to rewrite history and blame me and Noah. But he ended up confessing to multiple lies, and it was forwarded to his company. 6 months after the lobby incident, Ethan rebranded himself as a survivor and launched a YouTube channel called Rising After Betrayal. But the comments were ruthless, and he eventually disabled them. Meanwhile, Noah and I moved in together after 8 months. It felt natural, like we were just two people who belonged together. We got a dog named Max, and we planted herbs on our balcony. 2 years after that fateful night, I got a message from Ethan. He said he was getting married next month. I didn't respond, but I did look him up. His new fiancé was a young med student, and his fancy car was actually 10 years old. A few weeks later, Noah proposed to me at the flea market where we'd had our first real date. It was a simple, beautiful moment, and we didn't need an audience. Now, as I look back on all that has happened, I realize that Ethan never replaced me because he never saw me as a person. He only saw me as a role to fill. And I'm grateful for the journey that led me to Noah, to a love that is real and free.